Levante 0, Barcelona 5, and a game that certainly puts a smile on my face and makes me feel proud once again of the team. This Barcelona side seems to be playing better away from home rather than at our own place. But certainly I gotta be honest with you saying that due to our start with adversity, seeing that Nelson Semedo was out with injury, I was just shocked. I think like most of you, we didn't understand what was going on, but then we understood that Semedo had an injury. So there we understand that Valverde had to do something on the spot. He went with a free at the back and it worked. It worked. The first few minutes was shaky. A lot of us were saying that it was not good enough, but then we managed to actually then open up the floodgates and just demolish that Levante to get that sweet, sweet revenge. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here, welcome back to another video here on the channel, and once again it's great to have you for yet another match reaction here on the channel for any Barcelona match or yet any football match for that matter. And today we're going to be taking a look at Barcelona demolishing Levante 5-0 at their own stadium at the Estadio de Ciudad de Valencia. And I've got to be once again, like I said before in the teaser, I'm very proud of this team and how we managed to actually pull through due to that injury of Semedo at the start of the game. And I want to start focusing on that exactly. I want to talk about the decision that Valverde had to do. In all honesty, it was a very thing to try to resolve because we don't have any kind of player that can fit into that right back slot if Semedo and Sergio Roberto are both injured, really. I think that Valverde saw, for instance, that the pitch at this Estadio de Ciudad de Valencia is one of the largest fields in La Liga. And in that sense, I think that we saw that we needed to exploit the wings. Levante throughout the game, they didn't put any kind of like man in the midfield. The gap between the defense and then the forward line was really open, and it was kind of stretched out wide. Therefore, Valverde thought that he was going to go something, for instance, like Vidal, Rakitic and Busquets in the middle of the park, having both Jordi Alba and Dembele as kind of left wing back and right wing back. That was a good option. That was the first thing that Valverde tried. But as soon as he saw that there was really no chance at all that we were gonna get through for the white side, certainly with Dembele and therefore Jordi Alba, he just decided to then put more people in the midfield and started the play from there, and then just distribute it to kind of like gain a little bit of ground to then have Jordi Alba and Dembele overlapping, you know. So in that sense, I think that Valverde did the right decision. We decided to go with Dembele in a position where he just didn't look right, but that was because once again he's playing as our right wing. I had some people asking that why he's not playing so good, but that was because he's a right winger, not a right wing back. In a right wing back system, you have to be both the attacking player and also the defensive player. When you have somebody in front of you being you a right back or having someone behind you being a right winger, you know that in some cases you can kind of like do not always track back, you know. For instance, you had some players to rely on. In this sense, it's all up to you. That right hand flank is all dependent to you. That's, for instance, in system like this, for instance, we can see like Juventus, these last 2 seasons they used to play in that similar formation. They had someone like Cuadrado, someone like Alexandro, 2 players that have the stamina to be able to run up the field and then defend when it needs to be. In that system, Dembele wouldn't exactly work because Dembele is not built for that sort of kind of play. He did a very good job, and for that we have to praise him because he obviously started a little bit kind of like there wasn't enough rhythm. He didn't understand where the game was going, but at the end he started to find his foot again, and we gotta be very proud of that. And the same way for the entire team. The team looked very bad at the start. The rhythm was not there. The fluidity of the normal Barcelona play was not there. But I think that was just due to the change of formation at the start. It's certainly really difficult if you go from a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3. That are kind of like similar formation in a sense that you can change very quickly on the spot. Changing with a defenders at the back, that's not easy. That in no way, shape or form is easy because it just completely changes the way your whole team has to defend. And that was something that I stressed that much more in my match preview. And certainly seeing this at the start of the game, I thought that, oh boy, we're gonna get like kind of not smashed, but it's gonna be harder. But I think that also could be kind of like a double-edged sword because in that sense, Barcelona were a little more focused, and I think that it was the key for us winning this game because in some areas we were kind of like lacking, but when it came to defending and tracking back, and when it came to actually reading out the play, and when it came for our players to understand where they had to be positioned. I feel that they did a good job. On the other hand, the Levante were also very sharp in their own right. All the tackles they put in were clean. Until that red card, I think, most of the things Levante did, in my opinion, were very good. They were very sharp. I was surprised how good they were defending. Really, they had basically just a gauntlet of defenders protecting their own box, and just they didn't let anything through. It had to take for Messi, obviously, for that amazing when he picked up the ball, the interception that I think Dembele won, and then Messi just to run horizontally. That's something that you don't see normal. Players go forward or backwards. They don't normally go kind of like horizontally along the field, and that's what Messi did exactly here. And then as soon as he got the ball, he saw with the edge of his eye Suarez, and then with a composure and smooth passing, he just put the most precise kind of ball I've seen in a very long time. And then Suarez once again just clinical as ever, chested, and then boom, into the back of the net. It was a very sweet goal for the first one, and I think that in cases like that, we need kind of that individual skill from someone like Lionel Messi to help us just break the game a little bit. And a team like Levante, against a team like Levante, they're thinking both about kind of like whether to attack or defend. But as soon as you score the goal, you're only making them do one thing. Then you're only making them attack. That's the only thing they need to think about, because now they are behind in the scoreboard. So that's something that sometimes we need to rely on. And in the Champions League or in competitions like that, certainly that's where it's going to happen more than ever. When we take into account that the problem for Barcelona in this game was that Levante was so good getting past that pressure, overcoming that kind of like pressing from Barcelona whenever they had a heavy touch or lost the ball. They just go for it because of smooth and individual skill. You know, they grab the ball and boom, just a flick or something like that. They got people like Morales, they got people like Enibardi, people that just can quickly grab the ball and go past one player, and then we completely are open. We're open because right now, let's be honest, Barcelona this season, we have not been as good as defending in that sense. And then we just like basically, that's when they have a lot of chances, and that's why we've conceded a lot. As we see, for instance, Morales going for the right hand side or going for the left, passing on to Boateng, that shot from Boateng. Oh, que zambombazo fue eso. Fue una bombaza. That goal was insane. Well, it wasn't a goal, but you see, I got excited. I think it's a goal in my head because it should have gone in. Like, I feel so bad for Levante for that one. One time, playing football, you know, when you like shoot the ball and goes from one post to the other and just goes smoothly along the line. I hate when things like that happen, or like when it happened to Boateng when he went like on the post and then down. That is something that I just kind of like, I feel bad for the other team. Like, I may be a fan of Barcelona, but that should have gone in. Come on, that was a pretty good goal. It would have actually gone inside. And then for the second goal of Barcelona, the first one of Messi, and obviously the first one of his hat-trick. Oh my god, the pass, it was insane from Sergio Busquets. Like, prismatic vision had to be what it required for Busquets to see that. He just passed the ball, I don't know how many yards through the midfield of Levante, and then into the hands of Messi. I thought initially it was going to be Ousmane Dembele, and I was like, Dembele, go, go, speed, speed. But then I saw it was Messi, and I was like, okay, this is going in no matter what. And boom, just Messi with the right foot. He can do absolutely everything, and I just don't get people that say that Messi is like he doesn't deserve the Ballon d'Or, or someone like Ronaldo is the best player. I simply do not understand that at all. He has been involved in all of 5 goals for Barcelona today. That's insane. No player like Ronaldo has done ever throughout his career. Involved in all the 5 goals. That's just outstanding. And I may be speaking about Lionel Messi for ages upon ages, but it's just insane when people say that Messi is not the best player in the world, like, or the best player in history. It just doesn't make sense. So with that, Barcelona closed out the first half, and I thought that actually the game was obviously not over. Thinking about the game about last season, I knew that Paco Lopez was going to have something in his mind, you know, something up his sleeve. He wanted to kind of like demonstrate that obviously Levante are being competitive this season, but football just weird, because football sometimes can punish you, and Levante, even though they came out very strong in the second half, they did obviously create that first chance in the second half, and then just a quick counter-attack, and it's all it takes. It's all it takes, kind of like a cobweb in the box, too many legs being tangled, just the ball bouncing around and finding its way to Lionel Messi, and then Messi easily smooth with the left foot and being through Neo. Like, there's sometimes where football just is not good with you. it just punished you, and that is what happened with this one. And I was just like, game over, said and done, basically. And that's when Valverde decided to take out Vermeulen and put on Arthur and just try out something new. We actually played for a very long time with Rakitic as a center back. Like, that was insane. But that's basically what we needed, I think. We needed to kind of like just get a game where we could just try out new things. Get a game where we can get a breather. Get a game where we can actually finish it, you know? Because as soon as we got that third goal, there was no way Levante was going to get back into it, because they didn't even had a single chance from then on. So in that sense, I understand that Valverde decided to take out the substitutions, and I was all for it, because we just needed that game. We just needed a game where we can just breathe and be like, okay, game, set, match, and done, and you can just sit back and relax, you know, before all the other matches in Barcelona in these last few weeks has been like kind of like watching the screen for all the full 90 minutes, because you don't know what's going to happen. And finally, we can have a game where we can like rest a little bit and be like, okay, Barcelona got this game, okay, it's easy, I can do something else now. For the fourth goal, we saw an individual play from Suarez, and Suarez did so good just to get the defenders off him. That is something that not too many players have. I've been seeing a lot of Everton recently, because I've wanted to see how Jerry Mina, how Lucas Digne, and how Andre Gomez are doing in the Premier League. And another player that does that very similar is Richarlison, so that could be a player we could be looking at. But in that sense, Suarez reminded me of one of the goals he scored, Richarlison, previously in the Premier League. So in that sense, well, Suarez just did amazingly to get the players off him, and with a 3-foot pass through the area. Once again, you don't see many times like horizontally. Obviously, people may say, oh, it's a FIFA pass, but well, amazing pass from Suarez, and then Vidal sliding it smoothly into Lionel Messi and just finishing off his hat-trick and giving him kind of like the reward he needed because of being such a good player for this team. That is exactly why I think Barcelona encompasses altogether, you know, is quick play from the left through the right. That is something that we need to do more often, and I don't know if it's because of this 3-4-3 that we kind of played in this game, and we just saw basically much more like a stretch out play, because we got basically a much more like a wider team in this game. I don't know if it's a result of that, but certainly I think this game gives a lot of Valverde kind of like food for thought, because now he has to think about how can we recreate this for other games. Like if Coutinho, really, right now Coutinho doesn't, I don't see how he fits into the system unless we decide to put him in midfield, but there's no way we're going to take anybody out of midfield like Rakitic or Vidal, because they're playing really good. And Vidal today was outstanding. Like I said in my preview, Vidal was going to cover up ground nicely. He was going to cover up ground, running forward, tracking back. He was going to be very up on the Levante players, and he was all up people like Enijuarri. I don't know how many times they're banging into each other, but Arturo Vidal certainly is going to be basically in the dreams or nightmares for that sense of Enijuarri tonight, because he had a nightmare with Arturo Vidal. Arturo Vidal didn't let him do anything in this game. So I think that was good. Arturo Vidal, I'm just surprised how quickly he has managed to turn, obviously, that situation he had at the start of the season where he was having like bad kind of like social media antics and stuff like that. But quickly he has forgot about that and move on. And now with him more consolidated in the side, and the same with Ousmane Dembele, I think we found kind of like a team with all of the different players ticking. I don't know if it's kind of like a result of the lot of different injuries we've had, but it's something that I'm very grateful for. And then finally came kind of like the most BS goal I've seen in a long time, like Piqué scoring that goal. It was just like pure FIFA, you know, it's pure FIFA. Like when you're playing and you know, like, okay, the game is already over. Piqué was as a striker, we all knew that he wanted his goal, and then he just comes like cut inside in the box, our defender of like 6'4", and then just basically slides it in with his left foot, past Aurier and plus I think kind of like Postilla. So yeah, Piqué outstanding. I mean, checking up his hips like Shakira told him to do so, and it was just an outstanding goal. Like he has actually real, like, I'm not being biased, but he does actually have that kind of like raw talent in the sense of a striker, you know, the kind of like composure to do something as that, and basically the confidence to do so takes a lot of different like kind of like personality to pull that off. So we gotta be very kind of praiseful for Piqué in that sense. And once again, similar to Dembele and Arturo Vidal, he's been turning out to be quite a player this season. He started off very rocky, and something that we all agree, and I kind of punish him a lot in this channel, but then he just quickly has turned that around. And I don't know if you've ever been here before the season started, but I did make an allusion to something that I wanted to see at Barcelona. Normally when a team kind of like peaks before the like important part of the season, when it comes to like this kind of this sort of the year, entering January and February, then March, and the team just starts going up. Like if you hit your low point very early at the start of the season, then your team are just going to be fabulous for the rest. And that is something that we see time and time again with footballing teams around the world. For instance, we take a look at Liverpool right now. At the start of the season, they're kind of shaky, but now they just beaten United like it was nothing. And then we take a look at Barcelona a long time ago with Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique started off the same way. We had very bad games until he took actually that game against Real Sociedad, if I'm not wrong, where he benched Messi and Neymar. And then we saw Barcelona just sliding in right into the treble. That is something that we needed to happen, basically, because teams are just like... So hopefully this can be something that we can build upon. And I certainly want this team to continue like this, thinking positively, and you with the same guys. The media right now is dying down, and that's the best thing that it can happen for now. Dembele is doing amazingly. Arturo Vidal has consolidated his place in the team. The only few problems that we have right now are actually about Coutinho and what we're going to do with Coutinho in this side. It's just kind of like bad luck. I want to hear what you have to say about Philippe Coutinho, because that's a situation that really pains me to see, because he's a player that we paid a lot for. He's a player that I really enjoy. He's a player that at the start I didn't think was going to be as important as we saw last season for Barcelona, because he already became the third top goal scorer last season. In the just 6 months he had with the club. So I think that certainly he's a player that is kind of like up and about, and I want to hear what would you do with Philippe Coutinho. Leave me that and all much more, your thoughts and opinions on this game in the comment box down below. And if you just saw our video and this channel for the very first time, I encourage you to drop us a like and leave us a subscribe. And for now, I'm just gonna see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.